customers and enforce social distancing. Now, this was an emergency meeting following the governor's announcement just yesterday afternoon about that stay-at-home order being lifted Friday night. More businesses across this state and in Tucson open today, meanwhile. That includes swimming pools, but it is not the case here in Pima County as leaders work to put new guidelines in place. Spas are allowed to reopen, but customers need to maintain social distancing and avoid touching faces. And finally, gyms and fitness centers reopen right now. KOAL News 13's Brooke Chaplin has a look at the restrictions in place and the precautions those gyms need to take.
Yeah, it's definitely been a quick turnaround for businesses like Evolve Gym here, but it's definitely a welcome change. I've been talking to the owner, and he tells me they're just ready to get back up and running. But of course, they are taking steps to make sure you feel safe and healthy while you're getting a good workout in. So let me tell you and show you a little bit about what that looks like here at Evolve. So obviously, they are sanitizing those high-touch areas. So you've got the weights, you've got different bars and machines. They're trying to make sure those are clean and you're not spreading any germs. And if you take a look with me, there is a lot of equipment in this space. So they're really trying to maintain that social distancing between people. And something that I find really interesting, one thing they're doing is they are actually ordering these steam cleaners. They should be arriving sometime later today. And what those will do is they will clean the space throughout the day. So it's not just a clean or a deep clean at the beginning of the day or the end. They're doing this throughout the day multiple times, taking that through different spaces. Another thing the owner, Patrick, tells me they're doing is they actually have COVID testing on hand for any members that want to take it. It's a completely voluntary basis. So if you feel like you maybe have had symptoms before, you just want to see if you've had symptoms before, you can take that test and make sure you're not bringing any germs into the space. And of course, passing those on to other people. Now, again, you're probably looking around and saying, Brooke, there is so much equipment and it's really hard to maybe even move this 6 feet apart to maintain that proper social distancing. I asked the owner about what plans and steps they're taking to make sure people are staying away from each other, maintaining that proper distancing. And here's what he told me.
As it stands, we're about 6,200 working square feet in this area, and we average 10 members at a time, so that's 500-600 square foot easily per member, which is well over what they would recommend for CDC.
Now, of course, if you see someone on a machine that maybe you wanted to use, just use proper gym etiquette. You know, wait your turn, wait for an employee to come over, sanitize that, deep clean it before you get on the machine, and make sure you're keeping that proper 6 feet between you and other people. Now, I'll have more information on steps that businesses will be taking to make sure you feel safe while you're working out, and also some steps you can take that health experts recommend to make sure that you are taking the necessary steps to keep yourself disease-free as well. All that information over on KOLD.com. Reporting near Orange Grove and River, Brooke Chaplin, back to you.
Good information there, Brooke. Thank you. And today we're learning libraries in Pima County also getting to reopen. That is late breaking this morning. That happens Monday at 10 a.m. There will only be limited services like book pickup and some computer use. Also, the hours are changing. They'll be open from 10 to 5 weekdays. Leaders say the goal is to keep everyone safe and healthy. They'll be setting up services to be as contactless as possible. Meanwhile, new numbers out this noon show another spike in diagnosed COVID-19 cases across Arizona. Now you see the state has passed the 12,000 mark. It's because of the 440 new cases reported today. The number of deaths now close to 632 new deaths reported today. In Pima County this noon, the number of cases just passed 1,660. That includes 38 new cases and also 8 new deaths, bringing the county's total there to 144. Across southern Arizona, there are 643 cases now in Pinal County and 20 deaths. Cochise County now up to 43 cases. Santa Cruz up to 50. It's 12:05. We have new information this Wednesday about Saturday's testing blitz. According to the Sierra Vista Herald, last Saturday's test in Cochise County turned up no new cases. Now, those were done in Sierra Vista. This weekend, they'll be in Douglas. Grab a pen or your cell phone to take a picture. I'm about to give you a phone number here that you need to register. Chiricahua Community Health Center will be testing in the high school's east parking lot from 6 a.m. until noon. You do need to pre-register to be a part of this. You can do that today and tomorrow from 8 to 5. There's the number to call on your screen, 520-515-8648. As for Pima County, the same locations this weekend as there were last. You can find those spots and make an appointment or learn about how to make an appointment up at KOLD.com. All of this as a leading model for projected COVID-19 deaths in this country. Once again, raising the estimate of people who could die from this virus. Meanwhile, more kids across this country now confirmed to have a mystery illness that could be linked to COVID-19. Michael George has more now from New York.
8-year-old Jaden Hardawar was welcomed back to his Queens, New York neighborhood last night after fighting for his life in the hospital.
It was a nightmare, but it all come to an end. He's home with us, and I'm very, very happy.
3 weeks ago, Jaden went into cardiac arrest. He tested negative for coronavirus, but positive for the antibody. He's one of more than 150 children in the U.S. with pediatric multisystem inflammatory syndrome, which may be linked to the coronavirus. So far, 3 children have died.
It seems to be actually a post-infectious syndrome where the immune system is hyperactive and it leads to inflammation of the heart muscle or the arteries of the body.
Projections from the University of Washington, often cited by the White House, now estimate 147,000 Americans could die from coronavirus by August 4th. That's 10,000 more deaths than a previous prediction just 2 days ago. And an unreleased FEMA report finds coronavirus cases in Nashville and Des Moines increased by more than 90% over 7 days after many states loosened restrictions. Starting today, gyms and swimming pools are open in Arizona, and in Los Angeles, beaches are open for exercise and ocean activities, but not for sitting and sunbathing. It could be a long while before New York City fully reopens. The president of the city's transit system is asking employers to let people work from home or stagger shifts to prevent overcrowding on the subways. Overcrowding on airplanes is also a new concern, as are rules for face coverings. You need a mask to board an American, Delta, or United flight, but the airlines have told flight attendants to not force passengers to keep their masks on during the flight, only to encourage them to do so. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
New at noon, a natural gas leak near Cherry Avenue and Bantam Road's patched right now. Until the gas line was hit during some road work. The good news here, no homes were evacuated. Crews fighting a massive wildfire in the Arizona Strip, hoping better weather